Welcome on into Garage Takes here this week, talking the Lions if they get another win over the Browns in a dominating fashion. If you haven't already, do us a huge favor, hop in the comments section. Let us know what you think about this football team, the NFL in general right now. Where do the Lions stack up? That's what we're going to talk about today on Garage Takes. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you're a Michigan football fan, a Lions fan, this is what we do every week. And so I want to hop right into it, Brant. The Lions, I don't know what else there is to really say about them at this point. They go in and absolutely, embarrass the number one defense in the NFL and the Browns. And for whatever people will say about the Browns, and I know Joe Flacco just got benched, this is a very good defense. Myles Garrett is one of the best players in the NFL. That defensive line is real. That defense is real. The Lions had their way with them. And so, Brant, your thoughts right now on this team, and I know you want to lead us into a little segment here as well around the league.
Yeah, Dave, I just think that what you see is what you get right now with this Lions team. I know we talked about it, Dave, a little bit, but if we have to watch Sam Laporta try to block Myles Garrett or anybody of that caliber again, we're going to lose our minds. It's a good way to get Jared Goff killed. But if this team does not, if this team doesn't get in any more trouble with, any injuries or anything like that, I think that we know that this team is an absolute contender for the Super Bowl. So I want to go over a segment that's going to be a contender or pretender segment, and we're not going to do three teams in the NFL, and that's going to be the Bills, the Lions, and the Eagles, because I think you and I can both agree we don't need to spend any time on those teams. Those teams are Super Bowl contenders. So let's just start in the AFC, Dave. Give me a contender or pretender. Let's start with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Contender. I know they took a little bit of a step back this past week. I just believe in the Chargers defense in particular. I believe in Justin Herbert's growth. I believe in Jim Harbaugh as a head coach, and I think coaching matters in the NFL. So I'm buying the Chargers. I'm not any lower on them than what I was the week before. What about you?
Dave, same. I'm going to buy for all the reasons that you said. And Jim Harbaugh just continues to do this to wherever he goes, has them as a Super Bowl contender in the second year there. So contender for me as well. Kansas City Chiefs, Dave.
You know what? I'm going to call them a pretender right now. I typically give them the benefit of the doubt of just being the Chiefs, and that, until they stop showing up in the Super Bowl, then I am going to continue to call them a contender. But I'm just not impressed with what I see from this team. I don't think they have it this year. Something is missing. Maybe that will change. I know we're just about at the quarter mark of the season. I'm not buying this team. I know they get Rashee Rice back here in a couple of weeks. Maybe that does something to the offense, but look, I'm not big on Pacheco, Kareem Hunt. It's like that ship has sailed. I think the Chiefs are a little down this year. So just my opinion. What about you?
Dave, I'm going to go with pretender as well. And I think you kind of saw the downslope last year, and they were kind of lucky to be in the Super Bowl if we're all being honest here. So I'm going to go with pretender as well. Let's move on to a really interesting team, Dave. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pretenders. I do not buy Aaron Rodgers at all. I do buy the fact that Mike Tomlin may get them into the playoffs because that's what he does, but they don't typically win there. And if we're talking about true contenders for a Super Bowl, I don't see it with Pittsburgh. They are better than I thought they would be. I'll give them that. But no, pretenders, I'm out on the Steelers.
Dave, I'm going to buy them. I'm going to buy that they can get to the Super Bowl. I think Aaron Rodgers, whatever he's got left in the tank, I think he's all in this year. I think DK Metcalf has looked great out there. I think the running game can be good enough. I think Caleb Johnson in the second half of the season will come on stronger. I'm going to go ahead, and I think their defense is good enough. So I'm gonna buy them as a go
Look,
ahead.
Dude, no, this is the same guy, you guys. This is the same guy who says if he's got a little bit left in the tank. This is the same guy, Brant, who has called me. How many times have you called me? At least a couple times in life when you're riding in your vehicle on E and you ran out of gas. That happened before. So I don't trust your judgment of how much gas is left in the tank. And I am doubling down on Aaron Rodgers being an absolute flawed quarterback. He's a phony. No.
All right, Dave, let's get to a couple really spicy, interesting teams. Indianapolis Colts. Anything there for you that you think actual contender besides the division being terrible?
Yeah. No. I know I'm all out on a lot of these teams. I don't see it. And I know I tend to default to the quarterback here. Look, Danny Dimes has played kind of out of his mind, and maybe he needed just a change of scenery after being the fall guy for just about everything for the Giants. But I mean, yeah, the Giants are a mess, clearly. So maybe that was it. I just cannot talk myself into Daniel Jones being the face of that team. And he has been. He's played very well. I am closer to calling the Colts a contender than the Steelers.
Okay.
So that's
fair,
where I'm at.
Fair enough. I'm going to go pretender on the Colts as well. The Daniel Dimes thing. I'm good with them being a pretender. All right, Dave. The Jacksonville Jaguars, 3-1. We saw the mix up with the 49ers last week. It seems like this team's got a lot of fight, a lot of, um, you know, a lot of. This team, I think, is on the ascend, unlike a lot of these other teams. So, where do you find yourself with them, Dave?
Look, there's something a little spunky, a little swaggy about the Jags this year. I have said for a few years, I do not understand how Trevor Lawrence isn't like the guy in the NFL. I mean, from high school to college to what he has been in Jacksonville, it's been quite utterly a disaster from what he projected to be. You finally get a head coach in there, an offensive-minded head coach, and Liam Cohen, who has done a good job. They're playing like they feel like they have the confidence, like they feel like they can beat anybody. And I'm not saying that they are a Super Bowl contender, but should they be in that conversation of being a contender? I do. I think the defense is good enough. I think ETN he's surprised me because he's another guy who, again, you thought pairing him with Trevor Lawrence was going to be something, and it just hasn't been until this year. He's popped off, and last but not least, I think there are two guys that just have not gotten going yet for the Jags, which is why I think, and you said it just to lead it off, I think they're ascending. Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, these guys, they've got weapons here. And Strange is a great tight end too. I mean, they've got some pieces there. I'm buying it. I like where they're headed. What about you?
I'm going to go with pretender here. I just haven't seen, I guess, a 3-1 can be a saucy start, but I'm going to need to see some more of it before I call him a true contender. I'm going to go with pretender for now. And one more team before we move on to the NFC, Dave. Give me your thoughts on the 1-3 Baltimore Ravens. Still a contender, or is that a full-on pretender for you at this point?
Oh man, I think, and I don't know who they play this week. I don't have it in front of me, but I think after this week, I am ready to, even if they win, but it's a shaky win, that may just put the nail in the coffin of
Texans at home.
Texans at home. We'll learn everything we need to right there. We will. And I think that we'll see how they look before I officially shift over to the pretender category. I have a hard time, and I know Lamar's dealing with a hamstring thing right now. Derrick Henry finally looks like he is aging a bit and unable to do what he's done over the last decade plus. So I still, and I think John Harbaugh is a great coach, and the Ravens are just a great franchise. They know how to win. I'm keeping them in the contender category. We've seen teams in the past, teams like the Chiefs even, who have started slow and gotten things right later on. So, look, they dropped this one to the Texans. You go 1-4. I'm shifting that conversation. I put them directly into that pretender category.
This team's too talented. They're too good. I'm going to stay contender with these guys. Contender with an asterisk. I get to change it next week if I'd like. And let's rock into the NFC now. Dave, two teams playing tonight, 49ers, Rams. Are both of these teams contenders to you?
Yeah, I'm actually, and I know the at least how we're recording this right now, the 49ers have come out hot. I think I'm actually higher on the Rams actually right now this year. Like the Rams to me are kind of, I know you'll probably ask me about the Bucks if we want to just do those as well. Like they're kind of in that tier right below the Eagles and the Lions to me. The Rams and Bucks are. as far as the 49ers, I don't know what to think. It hasn't looked great, but they are 3-1 and they're off to a great start tonight. They may move to 4-1. And we know that Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. Robert Saleh's been a great welcome addition back to the team. Brock Purdy dinged up, not playing again tonight. We'll see. Christian McCaffrey, knock on wood for one of my fantasy football teams, is still healthy. But that could change it at any given moment. And he is the heart and the soul of that offense. Without having Brandon Ayuk, without having Debo there, Kittle, they are looking for somebody. And CMC's the guy. He goes down. I am just on the fringe with this team right now. What about you?
Dave, both of these teams to me, and that's why I asked them together, massive contenders. They're doing this with Mac Jones. The 49ers are. And you look at the other side with the Rams. Rams, I'm going to go ahead and say it, Dave. They should have beat the Eagles last year in the NFC divisional. So for me, it's like that team is right there. Matthew Stafford's still playing some great football. They keep adding pieces. Their defense continues to get better. I don't think that with Matthew Stafford, this team's afraid to go into Detroit. They're not going to be afraid to go into Philly to some of these contenders to get the job done. So I'm a massive buyer as contenders for both of those teams. Let's switch it over to I would like to go right to where I think is the most interesting team in the NFC right now, and that's the Minnesota Vikings, Dave. Contender, pretender.
Gosh, you asked me 2 weeks ago. I've thrown them in the contender category. I'm just high on them as a team. The talent is there, and it's not even a JJ thing or a Carson Wentz thing. There's just something missing there. And I know Aaron Jones is out right now. Jordan Mason's filled in just fine. Something's missing for me with the Vikings. And on the topic of talking about like the NFC North, I'm higher on the Packers right now than I am the Vikings, just plain and simple. And I'll be honest, I'm probably higher on the Bears right now than I am on the Vikings. So there's that.
All right. I think I'm going to scoot by the Bucks because I feel like I know you're going to pick contender. I know you're going to pick the contender for the Packers. So let's get to the last team I want to ask you about. Washington Commanders. Contender, pretender.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them in the pretender category this year. I think that it's hard to evaluate right now with Jaden Daniels being out and Marcus Mariota being there. I thought that, and I still think this. I think the Commanders are a good team, and I think they will be very good. I think Jaden Daniels is the real deal. I think last year was like a Cinderella magic run that I don't think they were even expecting in first year under Dan Quinn, who I love. I think he's a great head coach. But I just feel like they're poised to kind of take a little bit of a step back this year. They may make the playoffs. Maybe they get in as a wild card. I mean, we'll see. I think they're better than the Giants and they're better than Dallas in the NFC East. But there's something not there. Clearly, it's probably their quarterback that I'm judging that off of right now. But I just felt like even coming into this year that they could be a team that takes a step back. What about you?
Dave, I'm going to go complete pretender with this team. This team not only cannot run the football, they will not run the football. I don't know. They had the game against the Packers a couple weeks ago, and they were down maybe 7, 10, 14 points, whatever it was. And they went 5 wide the entire second half, and it made no sense. And Dave, what's the best way to get Jaden Daniels injured? Go ahead and run 5 wide the entire second half. And that's just reckless. It's just reckless. And I don't think this team has the right stuff right now to make a deep postseason run. I'm out on them. Do I want to see them in the playoffs? If I'm a Lions fan, absolutely not, because of the history there. But I'm out on the Commanders.
Fair enough. Well, on that note, let us know down here in the comments section down below. Do you agree, disagree with some of these pretender, contender picks? And you got to tell us why. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be back next week here on Garage Takes. Can't wait to hear what you guys think.